Welcome to Business Reporter's Improving Business campaign. I'm your host, Michael Barrington-Hibbert. In these series of interviews, I'll be discussing the progress and pathway towards diverse leadership with business experts and leaders. Diversity is good for leadership and also good for business. Don't just take my word for it. McKinsey have asked over 1,000 companies in 15 countries, and they found that ethnically and gender diverse companies outperform their non-diverse peers by at least 30% on profitability. In this first episode, I'm talking to Alderman Vincent Keaveney, Senior Alderman of the City of London, about the corporation's task force to improve socio-economic diversity at senior levels in financial and professional services in the UK. So what inspired the creation of the Social Economic Task Force and who was it commissioned by?
We've been doing a lot of good things in the financial and professional services over the last few years around entry, getting people from non-professional backgrounds into the industry. But there is a problem, very clearly a problem has been identified, and that problem is progression, that people from less privileged backgrounds, non-professional backgrounds, just aren't moving through the industry at the same speed as those who come from those professional backgrounds. So the research that was commissioned last year by the City of London Corporation demonstrated that those from the non-professional backgrounds were moving 25% more slowly than their peers from professional backgrounds through the industry. A real problem that we needed to address, and the government approached the City of London Corporation and commissioned it to set up this task force to look specifically at this issue of progression.
So my understanding that 9 out of 10 senior leaders within the city come from a professional background. Why is that a problem?
I think, first of all, the one thing I would want to say is that this industry needs to be open to everyone. That we can't have barriers, whether at entry level or at progression. This has to be an industry that's open to everyone. And in terms of what sort of a problem that generates, well, I'd say again, look at what's going on. We are in a globally competitive environment. The financial professional services sector of the UK competes globally. We need to get global talent in. That's absolutely essential. We need to get the best and brightest people from around the world coming in. But we can't forget the homegrown talent. We've got to make sure that young people here in the UK are getting the opportunities they need to enter into and indeed to thrive and to progress. And why is that important? Well, I think it's important for a number of reasons. First of all, that global competitiveness. If you look at the World Economics Forum's Global Social Mobility Index, we sit at 21 in that. Right. So you've got countries like Singapore, like the US, like Germany, like Japan, they're all ahead of us on that. If we are truly thinking about our global competitiveness in 5, in 10, in 15 years' time, we need to be higher up that ranking than we are at the moment. If I could maybe talk a little bit about how the task force works, that would be great. The task force set up. It's going to run from May this year through to November 2022. It's comprised of 3 work streams. Each has a group of 10 involved in the work stream. 10 business leaders in their sector leading on that. We've also got an advice group of about 40. So we're talking here between the work streams, between the advisor group, we're already connecting with 70 or 80 organizations in the sector, which is a fantastic start. We've had an absolutely brilliant response from the sector. There's a huge amount of enthusiasm.
So given the 70, 80 firms that have been engaging, what promising signs, what incentives have they demonstrated in terms of wanting to be involved, wanting to share that data? Because clearly there's a McKinsey report which demonstrates that having a broader, diverse leadership team potentially adds 30% to the bottom line. So is it more around financial, is the incentive, or is it more of a broader ESG focus?
I think we've got all of these things working at the moment. There's no doubt at all. The ESG agenda now is getting to the top of the boardroom agenda. It's there on every boardroom's list of concerns, things that they're thinking about. So we are talking about an environment where that is becoming a key issue for boards. But I think they're looking at it as well from the business point of view. As you say, more diverse businesses make better decisions. There's other evidence which bears that out as well. There's also the customer demand. I mean, we are looking at businesses now that are facing a much more diverse customer base.
Right.
And to actually respond to that customer base, having diversity in the organisation is really important. Mm-hmm. It will add to the bottom line by delivering something that the customers are expecting and want from the businesses.
How can we trust these organisations to actually mark their own scorecards when it comes to providing data?
I'm confident that for some of the reasons I've mentioned a moment ago around the business imperatives, the getting this right is really important for business. That I think that they will deliver on this. Right. There's the business imperatives. There's the wider ESG agenda. There's that sense that it is genuinely the right thing to do. I mean, one of the reasons we've had so much enthusiasm for the task force is a sense amongst business leaders that it's the time now to address this. We've been addressing successfully, indeed, some of the other issues around gender diversity, for instance, in the corporate world, in the financial services sector, women in finance, charter, and various other initiatives which have been making a real difference. Mm. But I think everybody knows that there's another big issue which we have barely talked about and which we haven't tackled, and it's the time we have to start doing that now.
What would be the pinnacle moment? What are you aspiring to in terms of success? What does it look like?
Success, I think, by the end of the task force's life is going to be around is really going to be around the data piece. I think if we have real commitments and beginning to see real delivery in terms of data, I think that's a significant element of the task force's success. There are 3 work streams to the task force. The first work stream, which is focused on government and regulatory policy, seeing what can change, what should change there to advance this agenda. There's a work stream which is looking at business productivity, the productivity case for greater social mobility. And the third work stream is around building, which is the work stream I've been leading, which is going to be building some sort of employer network, peer network, to move the work of the task force forward over the years to come. And I would see a clear outcome of the task force at the end of 2022 being the creation of that body with a roadmap to continue the work of the task force to deliver the long-term objectives that we have.
Wonderful. Look, on that note, I would like to thank you very much for taking the time to walk me through the objectives of the task force. Thank you very much, Alderman Vincent Keithley.
Thank you very much, Michael. Great to have a chat.
Pleasure.
Thank you.